Hey everyone, welcome back to another 31-minute podcast. Jordan.
Good morning.
Jackson.
Good morning.
Hi. Let's get straight into today. And there's lots of, I put a post up yesterday about topics, and there's a few topics that I think are really good. I do as many as I can, so I'm just getting out of my phone. I really want to talk about fear today as well. So I've got glasses on. I really want to talk about fear because I think, and we'll talk about it at the end, about how much of a killer fear can be.
Yep.
And I think it can stop people actually achieving what they really want to achieve. But let's go straight into some of these. Jack, there's questions that I texted you last week as well from people in the 31-minute message thing. Can you just get them out while we do this?
Sure.
So someone's written in about, they'd love to hear about the mindset specifically around self-doubt, fear, past shame, blah, blah, blah. We're going to talk about that. There's questions for Steve. Sticking to the plan. I think, let's start with that one, sticking to the plan. Because sometimes people you know what I've really learned, especially with weight training, if you don't have a plan, you're literally just bouncing around trying to get things to happen. You know, in real estate, the Matt Steinway system, it's still a proven system now. And people still, I know agents that have been in it for 10, 20, 30 years and still really don't have tracks to run on
a system
properly. Yeah. And they wonder why their results match. Like literally, and I need to be careful around this because I don't have a plan myself, like as in we have 20 listings and 20 sales. That's like our objective every month. But
we still run the Matt Steinway system perfectly.
I have a system,
yeah,
right? And when I say a plan, like I don't plan out, we're going to write 10 million in this year. Like I don't have that type of plan, but I have a daily plan that's literally taking us to where we need to go. Long time ago, I was like, with real estate, I wasn't that great at it. I was like all right at it, but I was a great prospector because I was just like a, focused machine. Every day I knew how many connects I had to do, and that's all I really focused on. And then I was looking around and I was like, why does Adrian Bowe do well? Why does this person do well? Why does James Toston do? And I was like, John McGrath, all of them. I was like, I wonder why they do well. And they all had different bits and pieces that they were good at.
Yep.
And then I was like, well, what if I put them all together and I created something that I could stick to? Surely that's got to pay off. And what that did is it really filled the gaps for me. Like I wasn't a very good presenter. I was pretty average actually, and I'd lose a lot of listings, but I'd get in a lot of doors. And I was like, well, how do I make myself a better presenter? And I was like, well, if I'm not a great presenter, I just need more clients to get in front of. And then after that, if you go and see them, what do you do with the contact then? And then I was like, well, if I had a great database plan and I put all these bits together, came up with a Matt Steinway system, literally changed my career.
So it's a Matt Steinway system, bits and pieces from like a lot of different real estate agents?
Everywhere.
What's it? Yeah.
Like the CMA that I do, this isn't a real estate podcast, but this is a plan. But this is about all parts of your life, whether it's getting wealthy, whether it's getting fitter, whether it's, even a marriage. Like people have no plan with the marriage. Like they want the best garden in the world, but they don't, or they blame the other person for not having a great garden, like watering it and taking care of it. But they've got no plan around it. Like that, I just worked all the time before. Like how on earth was I supposed to have a good marriage? I didn't even know what I wanted really, like in a person and what I was looking for. I think I was looking for security in the beginning. Like I think I was like, oh yeah, like when I met Karina, she had this family and I'd never had like a family that was like normal and the most anyway, it's a whole nother story. But when I went to her place from being, homeless and stuff and went there and I was like, wow, these people like actually sit around a table and have dinner together. That's so weird. Like I was like, it was really made me think about like I was like, wow, do they do this all the time?
You probably needed that at that
I did.
time as well.
Yeah, I did.
Like
Yeah.
you went from being lost to like finding a home.
Yeah. But even their family, they had a real plan around what they did every day. Like they, got home from school, they did this thing called Kumon, and then they went all to their activities, and then they read scriptures at night, and then they did this, and it was like this whole thing. But their family was pretty tight. And same as with a marriage. Like, I've been divorced twice, married to Tara now, but I'm not going to make the same mistakes again. So it's like you got to invest in that. Like, I've got a bit of a plan now. Like, unless it includes Tara and unless it includes energy around it, you're going to end up just not liking each other or disconnecting and be like, they're a bit of a pain, and you're like, well, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
So it's a good one, sticking to the plan. Like, it's like weight training for me now, there's a real plan around it. That's why I went and invested months with Metz to learn what he knows. And I'm like, I was talking to him yesterday or the day before, and I was like, thanks for teaching me so much in such a short amount of time. Like, I went deep and you covered me at work a little bit. But now that's added to my plan. And I think if things don't change, they stay the same. It's like, so that plan is critical if you want to get more successful in each part of your life. And there's only certain parts of it. It's like, the wealth part. Like, I think it's quite easy to get wealthy, but you got to be pretty fierce in, one, your knowledge, like someone like Steve, and learn about it. Like, you got to constantly be learning, what do these people do? I was talking to Tara the other day about Steve, and he runs his house on a full budget.
Yeah.
Like a full budget. Like, and I'm like, what? Like, his house is worth tens of millions of dollars. Like, he's a wealthy guy. He has access to so much money because that's what he does for a job. Not that it's all like his, it's investors and things, but his returns are great. He gets more than 100% return for his clients. It's phenomenal what he does. He's like the expert of experts, I reckon. But he runs his house on his full budget, like to the dollar. And he's not tight.
But that's like his thing. He's like the money guy. He probably thinks the same about your diet. I think that about your diet.
Yeah. It's the same. So anything that you want to excel in, you've got to have some sort of system, plan, daily commitment.
Is it best to get a specialist to do it for you?
Yeah, you do. I think that's why I went to Metz. Like, do you not think I know how to do a lat pull down in the gym and a bicep curl and a thing? But I'm like, I've got this window of time, and I'm like, I really want to see what's possible. I've just got this driving force inside of me to sort of go, I really want to push myself. Like I feel like I've got nothing to prove in real estate anymore. And it's there, and it's got full momentum. And, we're going to have a record month this month.
Yeah, we
in
will.
a market that's probably like the worst ever. We're going to have a huge month this month. Like, I feel like I've got that covered. It's there, and we're running. I'm really interested in your brand and your growth and all of that sort of stuff. That interests me a lot. Like, and I'm watching it. I'm being a part of it. It excites me. But now I'm like, well, okay, well, how can I? Because I've dedicated life to 6 kids and managing things, and not that I'm a stay-at-home dad or anything, but it's like, it's all part of the bandwidth I could devote at the time. Now I've got a bit more flexibility. Tara's really supportive. And I'm like, well, what can I do with my body? It interests me. It's like a sport, really, But now I've got to learn about it more. Diet, time commitment, Mets, all that sort of stuff. So what's your plan? Like, that's all it says here is sticking to the plan. It doesn't say anything else. So who is it? Who wrote it in? Joel Fisher from Ray White. So, like, I think time in a season, what do you want to achieve? If it's like you, Jordan, like the plan for you right now is critical.
Well, I follow the system perfectly.
Yeah, you do. But it took you years to get there. I used to bash you in the face saying, Jordan.
Yeah, I never had a plan before.
No.
I just turned up and sort of went with what I was feeling.
Picked all the fruit at the bottom of the tree. That's what you were doing. But that's what a lot of agents do. But also business owners. You know what? Do you need a tissue?
No.
You know what really interests me? All these shops around, right? So you've got a shop and you're like, even Metz's gym. I'm like, I look at all these things and I'm like, so let's say you had, I don't know, a donut shop. I would take the Matt Steinway system and apply it to the donut shop.
Yeah.
And in, 5,000 homes around you, you would have so much business you wouldn't know what to do with it. Because you would be slowly building relationships with these people and maybe not exactly the same way, but not far off.
I reckon it would work perfectly.
It worked perfectly.
Because
it worked perfectly for
your quarterly
any business.
update might be the top 18 donuts that you did, like, and what they look like, and some photos and a bit of a blurb about them.
Yeah. Just by doing something, you're in front. And so, like, you have this shop, and I always look at shops and I'm like, oh, someone's got to walk into that shop. But there's that old saying, like, if the ship's coming in, swim out and meet it. And it's so true. Like, if I had that shop, I would dedicate 2 hours a day to prospecting my 5,000 homes around. You would have raving fans.
What would you just say? I'm Matt from the donut shop down on the corner there in Terrigal.
On Sunday, we've got buy one, get one, or buy three, get two free, or whatever, heart-shaped pink donuts, blah, 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 whatever. Like, just imagine you just door knocked on 30 houses a day.
If somebody called me and said that, I'd be like, that's awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
People reward effort. Like, they get
because it
behind
would
you.
just be such an unusual thing to happen.
So unusual.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, so unusual.
You'd hang the phone up and go, that was Matt from the donut shop?
Yeah. Like, if you're a photographer like Jackson, and he just went one street a day, knocked on the door, and said, hey, I'm a photographer. Here's my card. Like, here's my little composite card thing. I just do photos of kids and things or whatever. If you do that, it's 50% off. It's $300. I can get all this done and edited and turned around in 24 hours. You know how much business you'd have? Like, maybe one in every street would say, oh, that's a good idea. And even if they don't say good then, do it again in 3 months' time. It's like, hey, it's Jackson again, just letting you know I'm just in the street, blah, blah, here's the thing if you ever need a thing. And that might get to October this year and they go, that photographer guy, he's been past like 3 times. We want our daughter Sally to get some photos. Let's give him a call.
Yeah.
But it's about the repetition of the plan over and over and over again. And it might seem like really weird, but that's what business is. You got to, like, people have got to know about you. And just making that effort, like you said, people get behind you. People get behind you and like, that guy's given it a real crack. And they actually think of reasons to use you. Like, oh, I'm just going to use it. I'm going to ring my auntie and say, hey, you should use this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what's your plan? And if you don't have a plan, you need to source what's working for people. It's that success leaves clues. The Matt Steinway system is nothing more than a whole lot of ideas that I've heard put together. And then along the way, I'd be like, oh, how do I solve that? When I solve it, I put in the Matt Steinway system. And that system, I reckon, it's so proven, it's not funny. Your mum's done it. She's got, like, even your mum, she'd used it in her area and she's got 50% market share and had it for years.
Yep.
Just applied it perfectly. She rang me the other day about Green Point. She's like, oh, this other agent's got dominance and what do I need to do? I said, have you been doing the system perfectly? She's like, oh, I've sent some things out. And I said, well, have you did this and this and this? And she's like, no, I haven't. Well, you don't deserve it then. Go back to the beginning and start again and you'll have market share. So true.
Yeah.
So whatever's important to you, that's why I say time in the season. Marriage might not be important to someone right now, especially your age, but career might be. So what's your plan? And you've got to dial that plan in like nothing else. People say, oh, your diet's so boring to me. Your diet's so boring, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but I want to get better as I get older. So like gut health, amount of body fat that I have. Like at the moment, I want to pull my abs in more. Like I like it. It's like a piece of art. I went into the shower the other day and Tara was sitting on the bed. She goes, you're like that statue in Rome.
The Greek one,
Yeah, she goes, you're like that statue in Rome. And I'm like, oh, that thing. She goes, yeah, your willy even looks the same too.
Aren't they really tiny?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I do all right there. But she goes, and I was like, that's good. I like that because I dedicate myself to the gym, the diet, and all that sort of stuff. Like I like it, Let's talk about this one. Let's go over this for a second. This guy writes, Ryan, will you film a drug test to show you're clean from the roids? And then this person wrote, I love how people ask this question so many times, like, what's wrong with them? I should write back and say, did you take Viagra last week? And this other person has said, Trent, can anyone get the best body in Australia? Can anyone get the best body in Australia if they're on gear? Let me clarify. I've never said I don't take testosterone. So, Ryan, I take it. I take a few mils a week. And sometimes I mix it up with some other stuff like phenazole or mastrone, whatever. I play around with it. But I'm very open about it. I'm 50. So the whole reason I started taking it is because I had none. Like I was like flat as a tack. No sex drive, no nothing. The doctor's like, you got to get on something. And I did that, but I take a bit more than... See, people talk about TRT, they talk about steroids, and they talk about hormones test. It's all the same thing. Like, tell me what TRT is. One guy might need 1 mil, one guy might need 4 mils. I don't know. Everybody's different. I've just found a place that I like to be, you know. And you can take all the tests you want, but if you're not in the gym knowing what to do and you're not eating properly, nothing will happen. You'll just look hopeless. Like, you look terrible. And it's not even going to do anything. Like, it enhances you, yeah, sure. But it's like the amount of... not one person ever says, wow, you're really dedicated to working out. You know how much effort this takes?
Yeah, I know.
Do you know how much effort this frigging thing takes? Like, even last night I'm doing triceps down here in the factory. Jackson was training. But I trained in the morning.
So when people say stuff like that, why don't they say it about professional bodybuilders? Because that's pretty much that's the life.
Because I'm a real estate agent, or I'm a normal person. They're professional bodybuilders.
But you're trying to train and eat like a professional bodybuilder.
I don't have the test levels these days as a 25-year-old. And even a 25-year-old, like, they can take it. There's all sorts of things. There's like Tren, and I've tried them all. I don't like all those. I just stick to a fairly basic formula. But without the hard work, the dedication, and diet is so much of it. It's not funny. If you can like look like a big balloon, or you can eat like I eat real boring. But it's for a reason. I eat for performance rather than pleasure. You know, like when I go out with the kids, I might have a bit of something, but not much. You know, because it's all for a reason. I want to, because your body will only respond how you treat it. You know, so that's why, like, I don't drink, or I don't this, because I don't want my body to have to process it all. So taking some tests for me, it's like a lifestyle decision, but it also enhances you a bit. But, you know, I've never said that I don't take it. Like, I really would like people to understand that. This guy's saying, can I show a blood test? Yeah, I'll show you my blood test. It's normal. I had one not long ago. It's normal, but the test is high. That's it. Like, there's nothing to it. So I just want to clarify that, because people love asking about it. They think it's some like cheat thing, and it definitely helps for sure. Like, especially at 50. It gives you more energy, and you feel better, and your muscles respond better for sure. But you've got to put the work in. If you just sat on the lounge and did nothing, it would do nothing at all. You might want to have sex a bit more. That's about it. Yeah. So let's just clarify that. And can you get the best body not on gear? I don't know. Probably not. I'd say, well, Metz has a good body. He's completely natural. Yeah, he's completely natural, and he has a good body. But if you wanted to go a bit bigger, I'd suppose you'd have to take something. You know, like
there's a limit.
Yeah, there is a limit. Yeah. So anyway, just want to clarify that. Let's do a couple more, and then we'll move on to a topic. There's one here that says, how do you get back on track after losing momentum? Well, you can talk about that after your overwhelmedness and things.
I don't know exactly how I do.
Yeah.
I think you just got to try your best to let go of all that tension and energy.
That's good.
And slowly,
you're learning well, Jordan.
Yeah, and slowly work yourself back. Because I always think like I need to try and reset myself back in really fast, but it does take time.
Yeah.
And normally it all comes from actually starting doing things that make you happy and that you enjoy.
That's really good.
Yeah.
I think you said it well then. So it's a gentle thing. It's not like all of a sudden you're back on track. Like you got to think about why you lost it in the beginning. Because that's why I really look at days in chunks. Like this morning, like I was buzzing that hard this morning. I was woke up at 3 o'clock. I just couldn't get back to sleep. I was like, I just can't. I got to get out of bed. I'm like so pumped, but I think that's like I went to bed early as well. So like if you look at when you look at life in months or it's too far. Like it's way too far. If you just look at it in days and just focus on the day, and have the same the system or the structure that you have. Like I'm excited about the structure that I have every day. Like I genuinely love it. Like I don't want people to ask me to go speak somewhere. Like I just don't. Like I used to have this goal to be like this world famous speaker. I still sort of half like that. Can you give me a drink, Jay? I sort of half like it, but I actually think it's a misalignment from my goals because I just like waking up and sticking to the routine. Like I love it that much. You know, like really love it. So like waking up, and I know I put my gut health things on the posts all the time, but getting in the zone, taking the gut health stuff, going to the factory, doing my thing, eating breakfast, like a good breakfast that's healthy. Like even nutrition now, like I'm so excited about nutrition and see just watching the body respond to it. Like why would you want to even eat junk food?
Yeah.
Like all I see with junk food now is it makes inflammation in your body and your body struggles to process it. Like would you eat an egg or chocolate?
Yeah. I've always enjoyed good food because Mum was a vegetarian, so that's all we ate.
The best.
But yeah.
Like and then now I have 2 ice baths a day. Like last night I got to 5 minutes.
Did you get to 5 minutes?
5 minutes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good.
Jackson's given up on the ice baths.
Yeah, I don't want to borrow them. Too cold. I was going good one day, and then one day I got in, it was too cold, and I haven't got back in.
The best. Yeah.
You really got to get your mindset when you do that.
Yeah,
Want to have a cold
pump
shower
on.
in the morning. I can't think of it too long. I just got to go boom straight in. Because that part of your brain tries to convince you out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So like now I'm like really pumped about it. Like I'm like, I can't wait to actually get to the ice bath because it's like, it's just the next little notch up, you know, like after you've done it, you're like, I was freezing last night and I was like sitting there watching maths just naturally. Because, okay, here's a good thing. So like, this is like instructions how to do. I'm so curious about lots of things. If I'm doing something, I'll really like get down as deep as I can into it. So Mick, the pod guy, I talk to him a few times a day. And I rang him yesterday. I said, I really want to find what optimum gut health is. Like, I want optimum everything. So optimum, like his moisturizer is amazing. Like literally amazing. Better than anything I've ever used. I don't know what he does with it. And it's like, and about 2 weeks before that, I was looking at my skin. I use this Brazilian stuff, this Brazilian thing from, what's it? Sephora, Mecca. And then I was like looking at it going, oh, my skin's like half, blah, blah, blah. I'd really like to find something that's like, this must be something out there that's like helps your skin a bit. And I've never really been like, I don't wear sunscreen and things, but I was like, I see the benefit in moisturizer. And then Mick goes, and I've always think that he makes all a bit weird stuff because he's like so eccentric. And I've just avoided all of his products. One time I bought $1,500 worth of products. I just left them all in the bag and they're still there, I think. Just I didn't touch them because they smell weird. And but he's like, oh, I'll make you one that's not got no smell. And I'm like, oh, really? Can you do that? And I was thinking, that's not, you're going to make it smell. It's no smell to you, but he smells like a bit like sort of a bit hippie-ish. You know that smell?
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. Like a bit natural. You know when someone wears a natural deodorant?
Yeah.
It's like a bit smelly and not smelly at the same time?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a bit like that. And Bryce has the same smell because they both use the same product. I said, I don't want to smell like either of you two. But he's made one with no smell. But it is amazing. Like I don't know what it is, but it's changing my skin. So good. So good. It's like, but I'm like, okay, well that's the next little thing. And then I'm like, I said to Mick, because the skin's like a big organ, right? and it's the outside of your body. I'm like, well, the healthier you are inside, I'm like, what else affects your skin so you look healthy-ish? You know, like you look like, I want to get to 60 and go, you look real healthy. You know, I don't know about sticking these things in my skin, like these needle things and all that. I'll probably get one more thing of Profilo and then just see how it works, just to see. That's it.
What about stem cell replacement?
Yeah.
I'm really into that.
All of this. So all of this. So I'm like, okay, if our gut health is really good, and I'm said to me, what else can I do? He's like, you got to do your breathing. So I'm like, so now I do my breathing, and you know he's right. So with the ice bars, he goes, if you do your breathing properly, you can have a longer ice bath. It'll make it like better or whatever. Your body will process. I don't know what he was saying, but it's like something with carbon dioxide. He's right. I went to 5 minutes last night. Did my breathing. Like I've done it a few times now. Went to 5 minutes. I could have stayed in there longer.
What's the breathing look like?
Just the Wim Hof beginner breathing. It's on YouTube. It's got 63 million views. It's just three rounds. It's really good. So I'm going to do that. See all these little things that people know. And I'm like, all right, what else is there? And he's told me about these electrolytes to get, this magnesium to take, this adrenal thing to take. I'm taking it all now. It's taking me a while to do it. And then the pods and then this and that. You know, the pods, when you eat them, don't spike your sugar in any way. Like you can eat them and they just keep your blood sugar level normal. Like it's pretty amazing stuff. So anyway, I'm like, all right, well, I want to get healthier and healthier and healthier there. And it's like, what else is there? You know, that's like in the day, I'm like, so then you have this breakfast, it's like killer, and then you have your meal plan, and then you get to the end, and then you have like cardio, and then you ice bath, and then you go to bed, and you're like pumped. Like how much better can life get than that? Like really? And I think when people go, oh, do you want to come speak in wherever, New Zealand? I'm like, not really, because I can't actually stick to my, we went to stay in Sydney on Saturday and I didn't have my pods, didn't have this, didn't have that. And like a bit out of routine, life didn't feel the same.
Yeah.
Just didn't feel the same. Like it's like, that's how excited I am right now about all of this stuff.
Do you think different parts of your life change?
Yeah.
Because at the moment, I'm like, I'm not on a diet. My training is...
But you're a bit stubborn. You're a bit of a stubborn guy.
But the way that you think about that, I think about the business.
Yeah.
I think about what can I... Yeah.
Yeah, like I talk to Mick, and Mick says, do this, because he spent 15 years trying it and doing it and living it. The guy's a freak. The guy is a freak. His breath capabilities are amazing. His strength is amazing. He's like, I know I say he's a bit eccentric and all this, but he's just a bit of a genius in this area. Like he knows more than any doctor I've ever met in this area. And I sit here and I say to you, Jordan, do this, and you still don't do half of it. And you sit there, oh, my diet, my this. But if I was you, I'd be like treating yourself as a high-performance athlete now, and I would have my diet dialed in like nothing else. Like you're looking very fit, you're looking good. We're talking about time management now. And the other day you snuck off again doing golf on a Wednesday, and I said you should really do this with your time management. You're like me though with the pods and the mixed stuff. Like it took me a while to get there, but now I'm like all in. But you have to want to do it. So with you though, I would be looking at Matt's 28-year career. If Matt says this, it's only to save you 10 years. Because if I can get you from where you are to in 10 years' time to be completely set up for life, which I'm going to, and healthy and sustainable, not have burnouts along the way like I did, your life will be enhanced, your career will be enhanced, everything. Because just from a few tips I'm going to give you, because I've learnt those lessons. You know, so if I were you, I would have the best diet ever. I would have my meal plans all done. I would have time management nailed, because it's only going to help you.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. So, like, because 99% of my time is spent in the business, like, I know what eating clean food looks like. But to run off a diet and have to prepare food and all that sort of stuff, it's just, I don't have the time for it, nor do I want it. So I'm saying, like, at different parts in your life, do these different stages need to change?
I would have died for someone like me in my life at your age.
I don't even know where the microwave is in my house.
Yeah, but see,
Let
I
alone
would
cook
get a lady
meal.
to come in 3 days a week and cook for you. That's what I would do if I were you. because if that outsourcing is going to take away a whole lot of hours for you, and it's all done already, all finished. Like today's Tuesday, so Sue cooks every Tuesday and fills the fridge up with all the meal plans ready to go. And Jackson and I just eat them all week.
Until Tuesday next week.
Are they good?
Yeah, great.
Yeah. And until Tuesday. But if things need topping up or whatever, she does along the way. I should have done that years ago. Like making kids lunches and all of this sort of stuff, trying to squeeze it in. And I've put things on my story often saying, don't rush, don't do. You're only rushing because you've loaded yourself up too much. Like, sure, there's life. I'm not saying I walk around in this blissful state all the time, but I've certainly learnt the art of time management and outsourcing. It just doesn't make sense to do that stuff if you don't have the time. Because if you spent 2 hours in the business and someone else prepared your meals for 2 hours that day, you're going to make money and pay them to do it, but make 5 times as much. It just doesn't make sense to go stand in front of the stove to make your things. I know you know this, but it's like, if you make these small tweaks, especially at your age, you're going to get healthier, better, stronger. Your career will benefit. Everything will. You'll become just way more successful. By the time you're 35, you'll be so far in front, set up forever, and killing it. I'll get you there. You watch. Let's do one more question. This person said, this is Rishab. Habits that you have picked up along the years, both good and bad, from your experiences. That's quite a good one, because I think the good habits, definitely sticking to routine. What are yours?
My habits. I don't know if I'm really a habit type of person. I've got a massive fear of failure that I've carried from surfing days with Dad. Like, no matter what I placed in any surf comp, it just was never good enough. So that's always in the back of my mind. I think that's really it that I've carried up, probably. You're probably saying stubbornness and...
No, I think you have an attitude problem. No, I do. I actually do. You have an attitude problem. It's like yesterday, you were just wanted to fight people in the office, and we were only trying to help. It's like you have this defensiveness. So when someone says something, you just attack, like your phone. You've got to straighten your phone every 3 minutes, 3 seconds.
That's an issue.
Yeah, you have this attack thing. Like everyone around you is trying to help you in every way, and you're just sometimes that rude or that abrupt or that you want to fight. It's I don't know where it comes from.
Never to you though.
Yeah, you do. What are you talking about? Yesterday I was gently managing you because you were don't you sell that property to that person, otherwise you'll be they'll be held to. I'm we're okay, whatever. Anyway, I don't know what that is. I think it's probably an anxiety thing, maybe, or a disappointment thing. You don't like letting people down. I think that's a really good one, because I used to be literally crippled with anxiety around letting people down. All I want to do is please everyone, to my own detriment, because I used to be I was just weighed under with this anxiety of trying to keep everyone happy, and it was almost just stalling me in a way.
I think about this all the time, because real estate is very different. We got to get a job done, but not every time people are happy, and especially in the market like now. But if you're a mechanic, thanks, Matt, your car's all finished, have a great day. Go to buy a car. There's your car, blah, blah, blah. You're going to get a suit tailored. Here's your suit tailored. Everybody fit the job 99% of the time in most other industries. Everybody leaves satisfied because it's just completing a task. But with real estate, because you've got what an owner wants to sell for, what a buyer wants to buy for, you've got this whole moving price scenario. The service could be 20 out of 10. You could have talked to them every day. They could have been geez, hard worker, I just wasn't really happy with the price. And that, I think about that all the time, but it's the best price you could have got in the marketplace. But to an owner, they don't feel that, because they're we wanted this and we sold for that. So I feel sometimes that I've got the job done and it was the best price I physically could have got them, and I spoke to them every day and I gave them the best service ever. But as we know, owners' expectations always start way over what a property's worth, and you're trying to bridge the gap the whole way. So I feel weird sometimes when it's like, okay, they're sold, but I know they wanted more money, and now off they go. I feel like that's...
I've had sleepless nights over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I understand.
But you can't do anything about it. You literally can't do anything about it.
I'll tell you where I've come to. You're here and I'm here, like in time. The key to everything, forget real estate, like the key to the mechanics that's going to deliver your car, like Tara's car, for instance, something happened with air conditioning, it won't be fixed for 3 months. It's a brand new car. It won't be fixed for 3 months because they've got to get the part in from Germany, all right? But I tell you where the whole thing is, not so much just in, this is a lesson for life, is to be really upfront with people, real upfront, managing their expectations so they know. As soon as you don't, you've got a problem, because they're like, they had other thoughts and you didn't know. So it's like, if something's good or not good, ringing them and saying, I just want to let you know this is what it's going to be, blah, 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 boom. A lot of people don't. A lot of people like hide, or they, avoid. When you do that, and it's like, you feel so much better and they feel better.
What do you mean? Like, what would that look like?
Okay, so the dentist. So Ned, the dentist, I went and saw the other day. He's very good. Like, he's excellent. But the whole way, I hate the dentist. Like, I can't stand it. I was avoiding it. I didn't want to go. I had wisdom teeth pulled out. But every single time he'd be like, I'm just letting you know it's going to prick for a second, da da da. I was just letting you know I'm going to do this. He's talking to me the whole time. So even though the process was not pleasurable, I knew exactly what was going on. Even when he broke my tooth in half, like trying to get it out, he's like, the tooth broke, blah, blah, I've got to do this. I'm just letting you know. But if he didn't, the anxiety would have been like, because I'm like, oh, that doesn't feel right, blah, blah, blah. So everything, like where you're at in your job right now, the more blunt and the more upfront you can be, guys, I'm just letting you know, this is where we're at. You might not get your price. It's not a price market. It's not. But this is what I'm going to do. This is my plan. This is what we're doing with marketing. This is what every third day I'm going to meet with you. We're going to work through it together. But I'm just letting you know up front, this is about understanding how far can we take the market. If you did that at the beginning and they didn't want to use you, that's fine. But if they do use you, they're like, but you got to deliver with that as well. They're like, okay, well, Jordan did say we might not get that price. We'll try, but we'll see. And you said, look, after a week, I'll know exactly where we sit. When you say, oh yeah, she'll be right, blah, blah, we'll give it our best shot, blah, blah, blah. And even if you don't drive it home enough, like you sort of touched on it in your mind, but you didn't really, you do that sometimes, like you give half information and in your mind you think you've done it. Like the text message today here, you said, oh, I didn't see the message. Yes, you did. You responded to me yesterday. So it's like you're just managing it a little bit. When you manage things, they never go that well if it doesn't work out. If it works out, fine. But if you sat at the front at the beginning and said, this is what to expect, this is what I think will happen, this is what may happen. So if they know that, they're going to bed every night going, that was pretty thorough, really understand that. So when you go and it's not good news, and as soon as you get it, you ring them straight away, because we put it off sometimes. So like in the mornings, you should get all the calls off your plate that are the hard ones, everything. So the not so good calls, the good call, whatever, everything off your plate, but especially the not so good ones, because you carry it around like a big weight all day and you think, oh, I'll call soon. And before you know, it's 5 o'clock in the arvo. And then you make the call, you've got all this anxiety and you're like, yeah. A friend of mine was rude to me the other day, a good friend of mine, and I was really offside with him. So I just didn't call him again. He called me about 5 times and he knew it was something off. I should have picked up the phone and rang him. When I spoke to his wife and I said, he really annoyed me, like massively. We got a long relationship. He was just super rude, blah, blah. She goes, I'll talk to him, blah, blah. And he texted me and said, can you call me now? I'm really sorry, blah, blah. I called him. He said, you should have just rung me straight away. I should have. But here I am for 2 weeks, like stewing on it, thinking about it, blah, 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 making it worse in my mind, when really I should have just said, hey, you were really rude, bit offended. I don't think it was cool. I don't deserve that. Blah, blah.
Why didn't you?
I think I was worried that it was going to blow up because he's not the easiest guy to deal with. And I was worried that it was going to escalate into something, and like it's happened before, like, and you've lost friendships over it because it's just blown up into this place. I was a bit like that, but I shouldn't have listened to my self-talk. I should have just dealt with it then and there. Whenever you deal with stuff up front and you manage things up front, it's clear. Like there's none of this like, like later, you know?
Yep.
So that's one lesson I've learned in life. That's like, Bryce does that. Bryce just talks about it straight away. Like literally, he wants to have meetings. And I'm like, what do you want a meeting for? I don't want a meeting. He's like, we need to talk about this. It's a good lesson, you know, and every time I do it, I'm like, it's heaps better. Everyone knows where they stand. Expectations are managed. So that's one thing I've learned, that in life, if you do that every time, you don't have any issues. You really don't. You know, another example, another mate of mine who something happened, and I was trying to call him about it up front. I couldn't, you know who it is, and I was trying to call him up front for ages, just avoided me because I want to deal with it then and there. Nothing to do with, not exactly to do with me, something to do with something completely different. But I wanted to let him know straight away. It went on for like a year, avoiding me, and then now he wants to talk, and I'm like, oh, forget it. Like, I was like, it's all too far now. But if it was dealt with straight away, we probably would still be friends right now. You know, the bad habits is OCD. I used to have chronic OCD. I used to wash my hands 100 times a day till they were cracked so badly. And I reckon that's a bad habit I've picked up because of anxiety and worry and fear.
And now I've picked it up.
Yeah, that's right. If I wash my hands this way, if I do it this time, if I do that, it's going to work out. Everything's going to work out. If I do it that time, then I walk away. I still get a little bit at night when I'm drying my hands and I walk out the door and I'm like, oh, I don't know, that felt right. So I'll go back and then I'll go into that thing again. And it's like OCD is the worst habit I've picked up somehow.
Do you think it's because real estate feels like such a mess all the time?
No, it's just because I doubt myself. Like I doubt myself. I'm like so many things have happened in my life that haven't been great. Like I have fear around dealing with them because some of them are so traumatic, you know, like, so when things don't work out, you're like, oh, I've worked so hard, and then it falls in. It doesn't feel good. So you're like, if I wash my hands, sometimes somehow magically that's going to make things go good. And you work yourself up to a point that you're like standing at the sink for half an hour trying to like wash your hands in a way that are going to let the heavens work it all out for you. It's the weirdest thing. OCD is just the most debilitating thing, but it's of nothing. Like it's literally of nothing. You're just telling yourself that it's not going to work out unless you wash your hands this way or do whatever. Like everyone has different OCD. Like you and your phones, freaking hell. Like you got to shuffle your phone 50 times.
I don't think that comes from that. I think it comes from I try and channel all of the stuff into a process so I don't miss anything. And because
Anxiety though.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
That's why everything's got to be straight and filed. And
I know. I watch you at work. You like put all these things like in the, like that. But and the funny thing is, the more relaxed you are, the better things go. It's the opposite. I know OCD might make you feel a bit more relaxed because you feel like it's organised, but it's also very difficult. So anyway, they're the good and bad habits. Jack, do we have any of those messages that you want to talk about quickly? And then we'll just finish on fear.
Matt, I'd love you to talk about the negative voice in your head that says you're going to fail, you don't risk it. How do we know when to listen to it? Mine is loud at the minute because I'm moving out from banking into real estate. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. We all have it. Like we're going to talk about that at the end. So let's do it. We're going to talk about fear. Is there one more? Sorry, there's so many things that got sent through last night, like, I don't know, tens of them, but we'll just do them over time. We'll just do one more question and we're going to end on the last one. We're going to end on the last topic.
Morning, Matt. Would love to hear your thoughts on surrounding yourself with the right people and separating from unmotivated, unaligned people. Love your content.
Boom. Great one, Jackson. Jackson struggles with that. Like he's got a whole lot of friends that are. I'm trying to say, like we had a huge argument yesterday. No, we didn't. We didn't have an argument.
It wasn't a huge argument at all.
No, we've had some big arguments. Yeah, remember when you were trying to fight me downstairs? Jackson's been playing video games a lot, so that's how he like socializes with his friends, like some little drug den in the office on a chair, much. Some weird chair, just sitting in the office playing video games all night. Anyway, you're in that sort of situation.
Yeah,
sort of. Yeah, it's like. Your friends are here doing their thing, and I'm sort of saying to Jack, you got like all these options over here, like playing video games hours on end and drinking and recovering, and I don't know if you want to stay in that cycle. He's a man; I can't tell him to do anything. But I'm like, who you hang around is so important.
It's the hardest thing that I ever did.
Yeah,
just letting go of my friends. Or you love them, you've been with them forever. I've still got friends that probably just paying week to week to live, but still surfing every day. I could have still been doing that. I didn't really have a choice, but I still have a lot of respect, a lot of great relationships. I just don't choose to spend my time the same way that they do.
Mm.
But as I started moving away, that created a bigger gap, more momentum. Then you got to deal with the polarization that happens a bit, and then things get said, and you got to stay resilient to that. Do you go back to that safe space, or do you take the scars and just keep pushing on?
Mm.
I went through probably 3 years of that. I knew everyone was talking crap, because then you're trying to build something and people don't like that, because it's like a mirror. If you're building something and they're not, it's like it reflects back on them.
Mm.
And then all they can do is throw stones, in my opinion. And then you got to deal with that. And then you got to try and build a business, and people don't like that at a young age, because like I said, it's that mirror thing again. You just got to keep pushing. All of my best friends are 50.
Yeah, true.
They really are.
But I think you made a decision to source some mentors. You had this mentor thing going on for ages, and you did make a decision to sort of look carefully at who you listen to, who you spend time with. And you did select all these people who are where you want to be, or close to where you want to be. And to your credit, and it wasn't fake. It was like you were genuinely interested in connecting with some of these people.
But I didn't have anybody at home.
Yeah.
My mum's a hard worker, but she's a family person.
Yeah.
Her goals and my goals aren't the same at all. She just wants to earn enough money that she can go on a couple of holidays a year, spend a lot of time with her children and grandchildren, and just live comfortably. That doesn't interest me at all. Like you are with your body is how I am with business. I want to see how good I can get this thing. Like I'd love to have a brand like, I know some people love him and hate him, but like Donald Trump, where before when he was writing his books and he was that business mogul and he had the towers and he was very well respected in the business world, and that come from real estate. Like I'd like to develop a brand like that. Not go into politics, but
I think you will.
But to become bigger than selling houses. Yeah.
Oh, you are.
Like
You're going to do that.
Mark Boris, he was in finance, and now he's like probably one of Australia's most well-known business people. Like I like that. That's what interests me. But yeah, it's the people that you're around for sure.
It does.
Yeah.
I think there's nothing more important.
Yeah, I agree.
So who you partner up with, partner up with in life. So who you marry. I think that's so important. Like I think it's number one, to be honest, because it's that energy every day that you're living in is like, it's going to propel you or it's going to suffocate you. One of the two. Grant Cardone said something really interesting. He said, I will never let anyone stand in the way of my dreams, including my spouse. Really struck a chord with me.
Yeah.
Because the funny thing is, when you're on that path chasing your dream, like people talk about like, why am I always so pumped or chasing frequency or whatever? It's not really. It's not that really. I've just got this drive to like achieve something that's going on inside of me. But not. I have to be careful here. Like when I say not selfishly, yeah, it is a bit selfishly, but what I see it as is benefiting everybody around me, like benefiting Tara and benefiting the kids and all of this. So the more I can chase that, the more I can, enhance life for everybody,
Yeah.
But people are different. They're not all like me or you or Grant Cardone. So like some people aren't interested in that. More like your mum. Like there might be a guy that's happy to go, like your brother. Like he works hard, but he loves being at home, loves mowing the lawn, loves playing with the kids. Like that's not me. But you got to define life your way. Just because I'm saying this doesn't mean I'm anything. Like people shouldn't listen to me if they're not interested in that sort of thing. But it's like who you marry or who you partner up with, I think is so critical. Like waking up every day and to be genuinely pumped with the person you're with. It's not they make you happy. It's that together you become unstoppable. Like I love that. I really feel that. And then the next one is who you spend time with. Because you only have so much time. Like I'm literally like going, I'm 51 in a couple of months. And you see time way differently when you're younger. And it's good that you're working this out now, but you see time way differently. I don't want to hang around just being fake with people I don't really want to be with, And I don't mean that in a rude way. I more mean it in like, where do I want to spend this hour or 2 hours or 5 hours? And I have a few, a handful of people in life that I just literally spend time with, but are not in their pockets, and they get me, I get them. They don't really invite me anywhere because it's like I don't go. I don't but I don't want to. Like but I could pick up the phone and literally they would walk here if they didn't have a car to help me out. I think friendship is a lot like that.
But they know that you would do that in return as well.
Oh, totally.
It's two-way street.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then the mentors in life, like I think they're friends and mentors, but, like John McGrath, even Jamie, my business partner, and been a few people over the years. And then it's like you can always pick up the phone and chat to them. And they always give you great advice. Shane Smolin, I was talking to him yesterday. Shane Smolin said to me a few years ago, I was going to build a house. I decided not to build it now. And he said, whatever you do, don't build a house. Just find one that you like. You can renovate it and tweak it, save you heaps of time. I rang him yesterday. I said, Shane, you're exactly right, mate. But he said it from a place of care. Like he's like, just save yourself time. He was so right, but I had to learn the lesson myself. So it's good to have all these people around you that genuinely have your back. And like, but when you win, they're cheering you harder than anyone. They're like, get out there and kill this thing. There's nothing worse than negative people who are having a bit of an agenda or want to see you fall. You can't hang around those people. At all costs, you need to move away from those people. Because in 5 years' time, like who you put around your energy field, they're either going to propel you into greater success or they're going to hold you back and you've got to apologize for being you. If you ever have to feel weird because you're driven so hard to become something, but it doesn't suit the other people around you, you can't be around those people. And I don't mean that you don't have to say anything to them. You just got to move away from them. So, and you don't need many people in life as well. Having 100 friends, you don't need that. You need 5 people that you can pick up the phone and say, hey, what do you think about this? Like Jamie, my business partner, like I talk to him all the time about like we talk about. Like I'll say, mate, what do you think about this? And he'll genuinely come from a place of like, what's in my best interest? Doesn't mean I'll do it all the time, but he'll say, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? I think this would work for you. Because they can look at it outside a little bit. It's been invaluable for me. Sort of how I built my business and life and even going on, the fitness path now. Jamie's not a fitness guy at all, blah, blah, blah. But he's like, oh, maybe you should think about this or do it this way. Even when I wanted to spend time down at Titans, which took a lot of time over a few months, you guys were all supporting me. But even he was like, maybe structure time this, like they know what's important to you and they're in there regardless of whatever. But they're sometimes just like a bit of a bumper going, maybe don't go that far, maybe do this, or manage it this way. I think the people in your life is key to your success. Do you think we should talk about fear quickly?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah? So I put a post up this morning saying fear will kill any success. And I think it's so true. And that thing about men walking around in silent desperation, it's just that, and I don't think it's men, I think it's everyone. I was thinking on the way here about antidepressants. Right. I was walked out of the driveway and I was like, it's amazing how many people are on antidepressants. I'm not a doctor, don't pretend to be a doctor, don't have any cure of any of this stuff. It's just my opinion. But I think why?
I think about that all the time
Like,
as well.
why are they on it? Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't
why are
wanna-
they feeling the way that they're feeling?
Yeah, why? Yeah, that's exactly right. And I'm like, wonder why? Because I've been depressed, I've been a drug addict, I've been this, and I look back at my life and I'm like, how was I feeling then? Why was I feeling that then? And to take a tablet to expect to manage your emotional position, I don't know. I don't know if that's right or wrong. I don't really have an opinion on it exactly, but I'm like, I don't take anything. And we have a very stressful job. And I had a lot of problems before, over the years, like a lot of problems. I've had to work through a lot of different things. But there's something about living a life that you find a higher place inside of yourself. Like you're reaching for that, well, how good can today be? Like once you start really looking at like the magic of today, it's like, well, how good can it be? And it's very simple stuff, like even having a good structured meal plan. No, I get excited about that. I don't need a Louis Vuitton bag. I don't need anything. But I love having like the structure around this feels good. And I think peace of mind is responsible for a lot of that as well. When you have peace of mind, you feel great. You feel like you're not overcommitted, you're not overwhelmed. You genuinely feel like you're in a good place. You're with the person you want to be with. I think sometimes people are with people and they just genuinely hate being with them, but they're trying to like make it good. That's a very wearing process. Every day. Imagine waking up every day and not wanting to be at home.
Yeah.
Not wanting to go. I understand that. Like that's not great. And I think when you're really authentically in a position in life where you're just like, how good can life get? Like if that's your overriding question, how good can life get? And what does that look like? It's a slow process. It's not in 2 seconds you're going to work it out. But if every day you're doing a little bit more, like if you rang and got a cook today to help you with your meal plan, would your diet be better?
Yep.
Would you feel better?
Yep.
Yeah. Would you feel like, oh, this is pretty cool? Like
Yeah.
I don't have to think about putting stuff in the microwave now and doing all this sort of stuff. It's all done. That brings a little bit of joy. Because when you're excited or you genuinely feel, excited's the best. Excited about how good is today going to be? Regardless of the ups and downs, always ups and downs, but how good is today going to be because I've moved one bit closer to where I want to be? Like that's how I see it. I'm just excited about that one step closer. I'm just not sure how you could feel down about it. If you're genuinely chasing your dream and your thing and with people that you feel good around,
Yep.
What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I'd rather lose everything and start over again on a clean slate than have, like somebody said to me, do you worry like holding lots of properties? And I honestly, I will do everything I can to not lose anything. But if I did, I would just start again. I'd just start buying properties again. I'm never going to retire. I love what I do. Like, yes, I could probably train a bit better and eat a bit better, but I've always thought that I just do the best I can there, and I put more of my focus and time and energy into building the business.
So if I look at you, I reckon you need to get excited about the tweaks now. Like you got 4 properties or something, you just bought your one to live in. If I were you, I'd get excited about the tweaks. So like, how could you tweak it a little bit today to get a little bit more out of the next step of your journey?
Yeah, for sure. That's what interests me.
Yeah.
What can I do
I'm gonna make
in
you
the
get a
business, with the business? But like if I had to start all over again, I would feel the exact same. I'd probably be like, damn it.
You'd be bummed.
But
I've lost everything.
I like
Well, I lost everything. I had nothing.
real estate and I love my life. But like you said, I've designed that, and sometimes you've got to go through a bit of like hell rough patch to sort of pop out the other end.
Yeah.
And that takes a lot of work.
Well, think about how much it takes to live a really satisfied life. If you had 100 grand in the bank, just 100, and you had a place you liked living in, you had a car that you liked.
Yeah.
Like, I love my car. It's just like 2019 Land Cruiser. I love it. I don't think I'll ever get rid of it. I think Tara's getting me a mongoose. Mongoose, a bike from the 80s to put on the wall. And like, I'm pumped about it. Like, I genuinely don't need anything else. We're not building now, we're just going to buy a house, but I don't really need much else. So like, you wake up every day, like, and most people can get 100 grand in the bank, right? So someone like you, if you had 100 grand in the bank, that's plenty of money in the bank you don't need. Okay, so when you have more than 100 grand, you sort of need it. Like, what are you going to do with it? Like, it's there. I like having more, but it's like there, right? So if you had 100 grand in the bank, you had a place you really liked to live, you had a car you really liked, and then you were working in a career that you are enthused about, you were pretty fit and doing your thing, you had a nice structure today. Tell me what else you need.
Yeah, you don't.
Nothing.
The only thing you get caught up in there is trying to compete with other people.
Yeah, buying stupid handbags and heels and things and wasting all this money and afterpay and all this. You don't need any of this. If you just worked your way to getting that platform, how can you feel down about it? Like, you would wake up every day feeling peace of mind. There's power in peace of mind. I'm pretty set. I can pay my bills for 6 months if I had to. You know, the market's going to go up and down, or whatever job you're working, it's going to go up and down. It's just the way life is. And then you just focused on bringing your best self every day. Like, learn about gut health, hum at a level, learn about frequency, be great to be around. If you don't like the partner you're with, get another one. You know, like, make life the way you want it to be. Like, no one's making you do anything. But if you've got this position in life where you feel really set, like, I feel good, like, I feel really comfortable but secure and eager and all of this, tell me how you can feel down.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
I don't think you can.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at the tweaks now, like, what can I tweak to go to the next step? So is that getting, I don't know, 110 grand in the bank? And is it, what else is there? Like,
Getting a promotion at work.
Yeah, getting an investment property at some point in time. I think sometimes people think they should be somewhere, and they think they should be, like, when I talk about things, you've got to understand it's 30 years of, you know, grinding away and learning and all that. Like, it's taken a long time. And my lessons are very different, but I've come to this place that simple is best. You know, like, simple is so best. And the better you feel inside, the better life goes. But you just got to make this place where you wake up every day going, I just feel so good. I don't need much else. One of the things that did that for me years ago is Warren Buffett got 200 grand in the bank, and he said he doesn't need any more money. Nothing. I've spoke about this on the podcast before. He doesn't need any more money, he said to himself. He's got enough. Isn't it funny? When you feel like you've got enough, more just comes. And then he's just went about his investing business, and look what he's got. You know, all because he got to a part in life where he just didn't need anything else. It's such a strong place to be. Like, genuine excitement comes from that place where you're like, what can I just change a little bit to go to the next step and the next step? But look at it over 20 years. Like, just allow it to happen over all that time. But fear, let's go back to fear for a second. Fear will kill any success. So if you're in real estate, you're in sales or whatever else, get out there and knock on the doors. Go and meet these people. If you have a business, go and have this system working for you, and go out and say, hey, this is what I have. Do you want to do this? You watch what happens. Everything good comes from the other side of fear. Everything. The properties you bought, the time when you had a TT and you were living this fake life and you're in debt and all that. You had to drive around in a $3,000 car and get through this. I'm sure you had fear going on around what will people think, what will people say, all of this.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, same as with me. Like, it's like, you know, I'm not a young guy and I'm like, I want to see what my body gets. Of course people make fun of me. Of course people go like, oh, what an idiot. Blah, blah, blah. Of course all of this takes the testosterone. Blah, blah, all these things they throw at you. But I'm not going to let my fear of what people are thinking stop my dream, at all. And if you've got a partner that's like trying to stop it, Grant Cardone, never let anyone stand in the way of your dream, including fear. Because there's the biggest missed opportunity. That's the person sitting at the bar when they're 65 years old saying, I could have done this, I should have done that, I was this good and la 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 la. Just the reality is you didn't. You didn't. Nothing worse than regret. And I reckon fear is the only reason regret will exist later in your life. Be brave, go after it, never let anyone stand in the way of your dream. You watch what happens. Life will become phenomenal.